If you've seen the new Minecraft movie, I don't think you can be trusted as a decision maker. This is Deep Dive with Dano. I'm Dano. Let's get started. Oh, we got a little bit of a different episode for you on this one. I know the podcast is advocated for 18 to 28-year-olds, but I guess we kind of technically do have 18-year-olds in the room. We have high school seniors ready to graduate. Probably senioritis has been kicked in for far too long, longer than maybe it should be. But all you seniors, you know what that's like. So I have three guys with me, and we're just going to let you guys introduce yourselves. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So who lost the draw and has to go first?
I lost.
Okay. So I'm going to try not to say your name because I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us your name, what high school you come from. Some of these guys are from out of state, so they're going to have to tell you their state as well. So, so you guys go.
Okay. I am Wyatt Hampton over in Kentucky, Somerset, Kentucky.
Ooh.
I'm a senior at Somerset High School, and I'm freshly 18, so I'm right in the age range.
Ooh. Real quick, tell us the mascot of Somerset High School.
It's a briar jumper.
It's worth being there. It is a rabbit. It's a rabbit. Pretty intimidating.
But it's a briar jumper.
It's a briar jumper. It's intimidating.
It's ripped.
Yeah.
It's a ripped rabbit.
A little more ripped than it should be. But somebody came in hot on drawing that thing up. So, all right. What do you got?
I am Leland Bolin from Versailles, Ohio, Versailles High School.
Yeah, and the mascot?
The Tigers.
Well,
Whatever.
okay. I think a briar jumper. Okay, no, it can't. Never mind. Never mind.
Jump over the tiger.
All right, and then the last one is my nephew. He'll never admit it in public, but I don't take it personal.
All right.
So, all right, go ahead.
Joss Fall from Paris, Kentucky. I'm a senior at Paris High School. You want to know the mascot?
Oh, I would love it.
We're the Greyhounds.
The Greyhounds, and ladies and gentlemen, if you go look it up, the football field is
Orange.
orange.
Yep.
It is orange AstroTurf. Quite impressive. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked the color, but that's what happens when you let the people vote.
True.
Yep.
So
So
the grass stains, you guys get like orange stains?
it's AstroTurf. They get rug burn.
Yeah.
You know. You get
Yeah.
so sissy boys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Don't take it personal.
I won't.
All right, so we want to talk a little bit about you guys are phasing out of high school, looking at kind of that mental leap, but there's some emotional leap to it as well. And so I just want your insight on some things. Maybe you could just jump in there. Maybe we get some high school seniors to listen to this episode. I don't know if I got any that listen to it yet, but maybe you guys are the draw.
Maybe.
If I put your names out there, I think it'll draw. It's going to be like celebrity. It's going to be like a
Is this
celebrity.
gonna, our career's going to take off from this?
Well, yours might not, but mine maybe.
okay.
It's my podcast, darn it.
Stepping stone.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you guys credit.
Thank you.
How about that? So let's do this. First question, what are you going to miss most about high school? Or even the high school years? It may not be specifically high school. Like, I look back and I missed my mom doing my laundry. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a big one there. So maybe it could just be something like that, or it could be something specifically about just school. So what are you going to miss most about just the high school years?
Well, one thing that I don't love now, but I'll probably end up missing is like the set schedule that we're in. It's basically a 9 to 5 that we're working right now, and it's going to be all gone, and we're going to have our own total complete freedom, and it's going to be great. But I feel like at the same time, it's going to be an aspect of these years that we have missed.
Yeah. So you're going to have to kick in a little bit of self-motivation.
Right. Yes.
Because there's not you got to be here at this time
Right.
kind of deal.
Yeah. it's your job to be there.
And life's a little bit of a routine right now too.
Right.
Okay, we'll just get up and do it again tomorrow. Yeah. All right. So, Leland, you going next? What are you going to miss most?
I got a couple of things. I would probably say the relationships you made with people along the way, whether it's like your own alumni or like just kids you made along the way. And then like sports, obviously, like not every person gets to go past high school and do collegiate sports. So just the aspect of missing what you can call the glory days. Everyone always looks back and talks about the high school sports. And then this is kind of off subject, I would say home-cooked meals.
Hey, there we go.
My mom is quite the cook, and I think I take it for granted sometimes. So that's definitely going to be something I'm going to miss.
That's true. That's true. And I think it's worth mentioning, I did make you guys homemade pizzas
You did.
tonight.
That's true. Those
So-
are great.
They were very good.
You can still have those in college, though.
Yeah.
So, all right, Joss, you're up, buddy. What are you going to miss?
Probably sports.
Yeah?
That's the big one for me, I guess.
What sports you played? Let everybody know that.
Basketball and football.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm definitely not going to play any college sports, but not to that level, but I'm definitely going to miss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are you going to miss about them specifically, just the sports side of it?
Teammates, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's some of my closest friendships have been teammates. But, so I'll miss them, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let me ask what would be one piece of advice you would give to freshmen, sophomore, juniors? Now that you guys are
I would say it could even start before you get into high school. Like if you're in 8th grade, 7th grade, you're taking like those maybe excel to high school classes. You have to be able to be a student athlete and make that a priority. I would definitely say that's something I took for granted in my freshman, sophomore years. I was so focused on sports, and yeah, maybe I was doing well in that said, sport activity, whether it be any of those. But my grades weren't exactly to the level that I wish they would have been. And it took me up until my senior year to really realize, like, you have to be a student athlete. That doesn't just mean when you're at school, you do school, and then that's it. Yeah, I don't like doing homework, but to be able to go to the next level, to be able to be that overachiever and just be the person people talk about, you have to be able to excel in not only the sports aspect, but the student aspect, whether that be grades, outgoing to people, just all the other things.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. Wyatt, what do you think?
One thing I would say is to kind of just test the waters with everything that you're going to do, because like in the senior year of high school, especially in the second semester, and you're choosing your colleges and you're going to have to choose a major, it's like you have to know what you want to do.
Sure.
But in high school, you kind of have all of these levels of interaction and kind of community that you can get involved with. And I think it's really important to try everything.
Yeah.
So that you know what you want to do by the time you're having to make that choice.
And it's just as important to know what you don't want to do
Yes.
as much as it is to what you do want to do.
Yeah.
And I would even offer on top of that is if you do it while you're in high school, the collateral damage is very minimal. The older you get, the more responsive, like for me to make a decision now in my life, I've got a wife and kids that pay the price of that decision. Mm-hmm. So the collateral damage is very high. When you're in high school and you get into something and you don't like it or it doesn't work out, okay, you just brush yourself off and move on, So I think that's a good piece of advice. So, Joss, what do you think, buddy? What's a piece of advice you would give?
Kind of just what Wyatt said.
So wise, so deep.
Thank you. I was thinking just almost what Wyatt said. Just get involved and be more involved. I wasn't very involved in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, sports, but that was it. Mm-hmm. So I would say try out more stuff. Try out everything.
And maybe we probably should have started this, but share a little bit, if you guys go around, a little bit of the activities you are involved in. I know, Josh, you said football, basketball, but so you said you weren't real involved in it. What years did you start engaging in those sports?
I've been playing basketball since 7th grade year.
Okay, so that one was pretty
That's been a long time, and then I actually just played football my senior season.
Okay, so
That was
all right,
it. Yeah.
all right.
I was my sports kind of started like when I was really young age. I was doing youth soccer, kind of built up my way into junior high. I did football 7th grade through senior year. Track I did all the way up through, and then I actually did do basketball as well as Joss. 6th grade, 8th grade, and freshman year. I did quit after that.
Okay.
I was also in band from 5th grade up until sophomore year.
Nice.
I did get a little bit too busy with things. I did have to drop that because it was a very time-consuming thing, but I did love it. I'm also part of our show choir, which I love because I love playing music and just being involved with anything around that, and also our musical. And one thing I'll add with that is a lot of people, the high school experience, like you don't want to look back and say, I wish I would have done this. You have to be able to drop that egoistic kind of stereotype of who cares what people think. If I enjoy this, I'm going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
And that's really all that matters.
That's a good point. Yep. Why? What kind of stuff you been involved in?
Well, back in middle school, I did basketball, and I enjoyed it a lot, but I learned pretty quickly that I did not want to do that in high school.
Okay.
But I got into high school, and I did academic team my freshman year, and I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I wasn't spectacular at it, but luckily my parents forced me to do the musical my freshman year. And I was the only freshman to do it that year, which was insane. So, and I wasn't expecting to like it at all, but I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that I did that because I've done it all 4 years, and I was the only senior this year that had done the musical all 4 years.
Awesome.
At Somerset. So it was just pretty
That's cool.
spectacular.
It's good to have parents sometimes that kind of,
Yeah.
give you that or else nudge.
Yeah, at least make you try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't going to make me try out like sophomore year or anything past that, but at least make me try it the freshman year, and I loved it. So,
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a tough question. What's something you regret outside of the activities or anything like that? What's something as you navigated 4 years of high school, maybe specifically your senior year? What's something you look back on and say, "Oh, I'd like that. I wish I could have that one to do over again"?
I gave minimal effort towards my grades almost all 4 years.
We won't tell your parents we made this podcast.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure I'm sure they didn't know.
No, they know.
Yeah.
They've talked to me about it before.
Yeah.
It's just never something I've cared about, and I don't have terrible grades, but they're not as good as they could be. And
Yeah.
but I regret not putting in the work and getting better grades.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What do you think, Leland?
I would just say the motivation of everything, just looking back and being like the mindset of I have to do this, like rather than I get to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Josh said, the grades, like you get to be in a higher leveled school or just a school where they want to push you to be the best, even though you may not feel like it. You have to be able to put the I have to's in all this and just say, I'm ready to go. I want to be the best I can, and just not really letting other people wave you from that mindset.
Okay. All right. Wyatt?
Yeah, so for my first few years of high school, I'd always been kind of focused on my grades more than anything, but unlike Joss. But my kind of issue was with like the motivation of it. I didn't overachieve at all, and I was just kind of trying to get through high school, but come like late junior year and then senior year, I've been realizing how important it is to just kind of strive for the top. Because like Somerset, they give you all of these programs. I mean, basically every high school does, like Beta and DECA and these things just to help you prepare and be ready for college and get a bunch of those classes in. And I didn't try to do a lot of that stuff. So I wish I did. I wish I did that a lot freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
So that I could be as ahead as I could be.
So let me ask this, similar answers in all of it. Are you guys feeling it more so as you attempt to apply for scholarships? You kind of feel that like, oh, if I'd have given a little more effort 4 years instead of 2, it might have helped financially?
Yeah.
I would agree, yeah.
Okay. You kind of come to a point where you're like, oh, they're serious about this.
Yeah.
We thought you was joking. Yeah.
And the thing I'll add on to Wyatt's is like our school, our one pre-calculus statistic teacher says it best. He goes, the school, almost every school provides this advanced level stuff to you for free. So why wouldn't you take the opportunity?
Yeah.
And like that really kind of sat with me for a while. I was like, wow, the school is giving me all these AP opportunities, all these just high level, skip a lot of thousands of dollars when you get to
Right.
college of just money where you can just do this at a high level. Don't get me wrong, but it saves you the time later, saves you the money later.
Right.
And when it comes to scholarships, especially like those big academic, like superior scholarships, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like
I definitely don't know.
They didn't come across our desk.
they mandatory like a 3.8, 3.7 GPA.
Oh, man.
And you're just sitting here like at Versailles, like the grading scale is already kind of like it already kind of messes with you. Like 95 to 100 is an A.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
So,
remember.
like 94 to 84 is a B.
Yeah.
So like
gracious.
Oh, I
so like
failed.
I know there's
Josh would still be in 8th grade.
Yep.
I do not have a 4.0, but I know there's some kids that like they do strive to just have that overachieving, just kind of like they're trying to do everything they can, and they've gotten a 94.3, which is a B,
Yeah.
B plus, and then they let it just like ruin them. And that's another thing you can say is like you can't let your GPA just like ruin your whole
Yeah.
mindset. Like
There-
it's important. It gets you far places, but it's not the end of the world.
I don't even know my GPA. Couldn't tell you.
Well, and that's a good point that you bring up is there is a fine balance of bare minimum not caring, not being intentional in it, but then also the other end of that spectrum, which is just as dangerous, is that it's your identity.
Yep.
And that, oh my gosh, my future is going to crumble. Oh my, it's not, yes, it's important, but it is not your life. It's not life and death, and so it can't become a God, and you begin to form your identity around all that. And that's the same for sports. Like, I play these sports, but that doesn't mean that's who I am as an individual or a person, So, so I want to ask you this. This is kind of off the cuff here. So
Okay.
if it catches you guys off guard, we'll figure it out. But what role has faith or church or youth group played in your life in the 4 years you've been in school?
Well, for me, it certainly helped a lot with stress.
Yeah.
So, like, you could be going through the week, and it could be a really hard beginning of the week, really hard Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then for me, I was kind of able to just go to the youth group with my friends from school and just talk about them and then hear how hard of a time they've been having as well, and then kind of work through it together through faith. And it just helps a lot, like, it's the community.
Okay. All right. What do you guys think?
I would say for me, it's just kind of like just a getaway. Like, I'm not saying our school is not religious because we have all those programs as well, but just like you go to school, you do these sports and everything, and we put as much faith and everything we can into it. But whenever you can actually step aside and just kind of step back and make that like the thing that you're trying to focus on, for me at least, it's been a getaway. And I shouldn't say I'm fortunate because I would love to have some of the kids from my school go to my own youth group in church. But for me, every Sunday night when I go to youth group, for me, I get to see a group of kids that I don't see hardly at all throughout the week.
Yeah.
So then for me, it's just kind of like new faces, like in a sense, a breath of fresh air. They're all there to, just have good communication, get closer in Christ, and just be friendly and do all the fun things. So for me, it's relaxing, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's got me through a lot of things.
Okay.
I mean, I've tried to keep faith the center of my life.
Yeah.
And there have definitely been times in my life where it's not been.
Sure.
Especially sports. You said this earlier, but I definitely had a problem with finding my identity in sports.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past year, I've been really working on trying to find my identity in Christ.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's really helped with, like Wyatt said, stress and stuff like that. So,
Well, when you get your priority and identity in the proper place, it helps keep you centered on everything else that comes along.
yeah. Yeah.
Because that faith in Christ doesn't change as far as who Christ is. Sports are here, they're gone tomorrow. Right. Or even if, I know Leland's going into collegiate sports there, but, and I don't mean this as to think hopelessly, but, you can be doing really well and an injury comes and then it's gone.
Right.
You know, and if your identity's in that, then your whole world almost seems to crumble with it.
Yeah.
But if you can keep your focus in the right spot, regardless of chaos or victory or mountaintop experiences in your life, you're still going to remain solid because your focus is solid.
Yeah.
You know,
Balance.
yeah, absolutely.
And I think that goes kind of along with the grades. Like, you can't make the sports your identity. You can't make that the wavering factor of whether you're going to have a good day or not, because you have to factor in not every day is going to be the best. Sometimes you're just going to be sore. You're just going to be X, Y, Z. There's other things going on outside of sports. And if all you do is prioritize that, I'm guilty of it. It can ruin a mood. It can ruin all the experiences later on. But I think that's just part of every athlete's journey. You have to be able to say, this isn't my identity. I'm maybe just going through a rough patch. I'm just not it's not clicking right now.
Yeah.
And that's just why we practice.
Well, and the danger that we don't talk about enough in finding our identity in, and I don't mean this as a dig on anybody, because it's easy for me to find my identity in my work. You know, so we all do it. We all have a tendency to fall into that trap. But the danger in finding our identity in shallow things of culture, sports, academics, achievements, the danger in that is that if I find my value in that, that's how I place value on everybody else. And so it becomes very easy to say, well, you're not as good of an athlete as I am, so you're worth less than me. You know, your worth to society or this school or to me in my life isn't much because you're not as good as I am. And so it's not just me attaching my identity. Now I make everybody's identity on that. And that's a very dangerous game to play because there's a lot of valuable people in our life that may not be interested, may not be as good, but that doesn't mean their value is any less than mine. And so if I find my identity in Christ, then I start to view everybody else through that lens too.
Right.
And that's where I think that's the best place to be when we talk about relational value.
Yeah.
People.
And I think that's why high school is good, is like if you can really branch out and just find all those other things, whether it be sports, extracurriculars, an academic team, musicals, all the things, you get to see all of the different things that people take very close to their heart personally. Like, you can take sports, they can take, music. Like, they prioritize that all in different things. So if you get to see it from their perspective, you're all striving for the same thing, and it's to be the best you can be in that certain thing.
Right.
It just isn't maybe what you're going for directly. And I mean, all in all, it's, you guys are all there to just have fun and have a good time and be your best.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what would be? This is where we're going to get our listeners involved here in the comment section. We'll do our best in this conversation, but I'm interested to see what our listeners have to say. What would be like one piece of advice you would hope to get as you're heading out of high school, getting ready to leave home a little bit? You all three have elected to go to college. Some are electing to go to work, which is awesome too. There's all these different paths, but what's something that you wish, like, man, I would like to ask this about, or what's one thing you wish you could know looking forward? I hope I'm wording that well enough that makes it easy to do that. So, silence.
Well, for me, the experience of finding a college and applying for all of these different classes and scholarships and applying to different colleges as well, it's kind of like, I feel like I've been kind of in the dark about it all. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, nobody around I'm talking to about it, they're like, I don't know, just fill it out. Like, it's so confusing about how we're supposed to apply to all of this, but nobody has really told us what to do for it.
It's
so
the little things. There's so many things.
So many little things
like
that you just kind of,
Each little thing has some other little things.
Right. There's so much to do, and it's all so confusing.
Yeah, and you just have to figure it out.
Well, and what's frustrating is it's one of those things where mentally millions of people have done this,
Right.
and yet I can't find anybody who has done this, or who pretends they've done it.
Right.
So it's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like nobody knows what what they're talking about somehow. Yet everyone has done it.
And 10 people have 10 different opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I'd say the same thing Wyatt said. Like, they make it seem like it's black and white, but I'm seeing the whole rainbow. And just, I mean, in my family, I'm the first sibling to actually go to college.
Yeah.
So, like, for us, this is all brand new. So, like, trying to figure out and make sure that I have everything up to date and where it needs to be, it's always in the back of my head. So,
Yeah.
just being able to balance everything, I guess.
Well, and the deadlines.
Oh,
Like, oh, sorry, I didn't know the deadline was last week. You know, oh, sorry you missed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Or they'll just say, well, just meet with your advisor.
Yeah.
And the advisor just slides a
I?
piece of paper and says, take those 10 classes. You're like, well, what are they? Doesn't matter. You're just taking them.
meet
Why do I
meet
need
up with
these?
your advisor, and then, you know, some of us have to drive 3 hours.
Yeah.
to go see him.
Yeah, it's 2025 advisors. I think we could do Zoom calls.
Just
You would
text
think.
me.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Let me ask, what's one thing do you feel like, I don't want to use the word fear. I think that's too strong, but, you know, what's one thing that kind of makes you nervous about the next chapter?
College classes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard they're a lot harder than high school. So
You will have to put an effort in.
yeah. All right. That's great. But overall, just I'm very excited about this, but also pretty nervous moving out on my own.
Yeah.
Being on my own. I'm just, it's exciting, but it's really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
agree. Oh, go ahead.
my bad. I feel like the hardest part for me will be the motivation. Because like we were talking about in high school, you have the set schedule, but
Sure.
in college, you don't have to show up. You don't have to, and they won't care.
If
that
you're a
much.
sophomore in high school, do not, that is not,
But I feel like that's just that's one thing I'm worried about is just having the motivation to complete everything
yeah.
because it'll be a lot. It's college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leland?
I would just say it's kind of like you're getting a whole new life. Like, I think we all moving away to college in it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like living
Yeah.
in a dorm. Like, for me, you're basically starting a whole new life. Like, I'm going to be 3 hours away from home, and I'm a very family-oriented guy.
Yeah.
So knowing that I'm going to be 3 hours to the nearest relative of my own is going to be crazy. Not knowing that I'm going to have home-cooked meals. I'm going to have to do my own laundry. All the things. I'm, like, basically an adult living on my own, having to relive, in a sense, a school-based thing without any help other than, you know, my roommate or counselors or coaches. So it's just knowing that it's the big boy world now.
Yeah. No, it's,
Mom and Dad's not going to be there to remind me about everything.
Yeah.
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 So, well, I'll tell you, I know all three of you pretty well, and I'll just say that you guys, I think you guys are going to do well, and give you two things, and that would be A, you make sure you keep yourself centered on Christ, and two, find yourself a community of people that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And the people you surround yourself with is oftentimes the deciding factor of how well you navigate the next several years of your life. And so be very cautious and be very intentional about the people you surround yourself with, and find some people that are striving to honor Christ with their life. And then that's going to be the thing that helps really propel you to stay focused and stay on the path there. So, well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for doing it with me.
Thank you.
And so leave in the comments what
Comment
piece
down
of
below.
advice you would give these guys. I know most of our listeners are outside of high school, have been outside of high school for a couple years. So if you would do me a favor, just put in the comments what a piece of advice, because they're going to be watching the episode once it's posted. They'll keep watching the comments, and then so they'll get what you put down. But
Please give me advice.
please give Wyatt advice on someone in the comments ought to put, Wyatt, you have to go to class. Someone please put that. So, but hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for doing the episode with me.
yeah.
This is
It was fun.
this
A
is
lot of
Deep
fun.
Dive with Dano, and we'll catch you next time.